The quiet of Earth's day was shattered by a sudden, powerful roar, something unlike anything humans had ever heard before. In an instant, massive ships appeared in the sky, cloaked by technology that made them invisible to radar. Their shadows blocked out the sun, and panic spread across the planet like wildfire. It wasn't just any alien fleet, it was an entire empire, an advanced alien race known for its power and unchallenged rule over the galaxy. For centuries, they had defeated every species they encountered, and now they had their sights set on Earth. From the heart of their massive flagship, the alien emperor's voice echoed across every television, radio, and communication device worldwide. His voice was cold, calculating, and filled with arrogance. Humans, hear this, you stand on the brink of extinction. You have two choices: surrender to the superior might of the Glothar Empire, or face utter annihilation. The tension hung in the air as people across the world awaited the next words, terrified. But the Emperor wasn't done yet. However, we offer you a final chance, a challenge to decide your fate. You will face us in a battle of skills. A culinary contest. Win, and Earth will be spared. Lose, and we shall wipe your planet from existence. It was absurd. A culinary battle? People stared at their screens in disbelief. How could something so ridiculous be their last hope for survival? The stakes were higher than any competition on Earth, and yet, the alien empire believed it was a simple game. To them, it was an easy victory. Their technology, their AI-driven perfection, could easily crush anything humanity had to offer. The message ended, and silence followed. Earth's leaders scrambled to make sense of the challenge. What could they do? They had no advanced cooking technology to compete with the alien empire. They had no superpowered AI chefs. But there was one thing they had, a human spirit that couldn't be easily broken. In the chaos of the meeting rooms and war councils, a quiet voice broke through. Jake Bonner. A name few people remembered, a man who had once been Earth's finest chef, now forgotten and living in the shadows of his former glory. But Bonner wasn't just a chef, he was a symbol of humanity's resilience. Once, he had been known for his incredible culinary talent, using the freshest Earth ingredients to craft meals that made even the coldest hearts warm. But after a tragedy struck, his restaurant burned down in an attack, Bonner had disappeared, leaving behind his reputation and career. He had no reason to fight anymore. But now, Earth needed him. Bonner knew the odds were against them. The Glothar Empire was a machine of perfection. Their secret weapon, an AI-powered culinary system, could replicate any dish to the exact specifications needed, flawless in every way. Human hands, human hearts, couldn't compete with that. But Bonner wasn't going to let Earth's future slip away without a fight. He stepped forward, offering to lead the human team in the battle, even though he knew the difficulty of the task. The team he had to assemble wasn't composed of seasoned chefs or experts, they were a group of inexperienced individuals. Each had their own talents, but none were prepared for the challenge ahead. And worst of all, they had no resources to match the alien empire's technology. No AI-driven systems, no high-tech equipment, just the basics of Earth's cooking traditions. But Bonner had something more important than technology. He had the memories of Earth's past, the culture of every human who had ever cooked a meal with love and care. The heart of humanity was in every dish, and that was something no AI could replicate. As Bonner and his team prepared, they knew the pressure was immense. They weren't just fighting for their own lives. They were fighting for the lives of every person on Earth. They had to make the aliens understand that humanity couldn't be beaten by technology alone. The challenge was on, and every move they made would be watched by the entire galaxy. Every step they took could be their last, and the pressure was unbearable. The fate of billions depended on this absurd challenge. It was a battle of flavors, of hearts, of emotions, and it was the only thing standing between humanity and extinction. When the aliens unveiled their dish, the world gasped in awe. It was beautiful, almost too beautiful. The meal glistened under the lights, each element perfectly arranged, each color carefully balanced. The dish seemed to float in mid-air, supported by invisible magnetic fields, as the AI chef responsible for its creation hovered nearby, making subtle adjustments. There was no mistake in the presentation. No flaw in the flavor profile. The taste was balanced with precision, the textures were smooth, the temperatures perfectly adjusted, and the garnish was placed with mechanical accuracy. But there was something off about it. Something unsettling. As the first bite was taken by the head judge, a murmur ran through the crowd. The dish was undeniably flawless, but there was no warmth to it, no life. The meal was a perfect product of science and technology, but it lacked soul. The flavors, while exquisite, didn't carry any story. The aliens had created a dish that was engineered to perfection, yet there was no connection to the earth it came from, no history, no human touch. It was cold, like the Empire itself. Meanwhile, across the room, Jake Bonner and his team were struggling. The clock was ticking, and every second felt like an eternity. They had no advanced AI systems, no robots to do the work for them. They were on their own. The team, a mix of novice chefs and unlikely heroes, fought against the pressure of the challenge. They didn't have the technology to match the aliens, but they had something far more important: their hands, their hearts, and their memories of a world that had once been full of life. Bonner, though older and more weathered than before, led his team with a steady hand. He was used to the heat of the kitchen, but this time, it was different. The weight of the entire world seemed to hang over his shoulders. Every mistake, every burnt edge, every dropped ingredient could mean the end of humanity. His team was inexperienced, and the stakes were unlike anything they had ever faced. To make things worse, sabotage was lurking around every corner. Alien spies, disguised as judges and officials, had infiltrated the human side of the kitchen. They had no intention of letting Earth win, and they did everything they could to sabotage the human team's progress. A pan fell from the counter, an ingredient was misplaced, and Bonner could feel the cold gaze of the alien empire on them. The pressure was building, and time was running out. Yet despite the obstacles, Bonner's team refused to give up. They were up against an enemy with infinite resources, but they had something the aliens could never understand: the human spirit. They worked together, with every bit of strength and creativity they had. Each person brought their own unique touch to the dish, from a touch of spice to an unexpected flavor combination. They didn't just want to win, they wanted to prove to the galaxy that there was more to cooking than perfection. The aliens may have had their cold, calculated system, but Jake Bonner and his team had the soul of Earth behind them. As they worked, Bonner couldn't help but think about the past, about the chefs who had inspired him, about the dishes that told the stories of human survival and triumph. They couldn't match the AI in speed or precision, but they could bring something far more valuable to the table: the story of humanity. As the time continued to tick away, Bonner's team pushed forward, determined to make their dish not just a meal, but a symbol of everything Earth had fought for. They might not have had advanced technology, but they had their hearts, and that, Bonner knew, was something the alien empire could never replicate. As the minutes ticked by, the tension in the kitchen reached a boiling point. Bonner and his team were working as fast as they could, but every movement felt like it could be their last. They had no advanced tools or technology to rely on, only their skills and their willpower. But the clock was unforgiving, and the alien empire wasn't showing any mercy. The alien leader, Lord Vrex, had been watching the humans' progress with a cold, calculating gaze. He stood in the shadows of his flagship, observing Earth's chefs through his fleet's surveillance systems. His voice echoed in Bonner's ear as a taunting reminder of the impossibility of their task. "Do you really think your human emotion can compete with the precision of my empire's technology?" Lord Vrex sneered, his voice oozing with arrogance. "Your hearts cannot beat faster than the speed of perfection. You will fail, and your world will be wiped from existence." The words cut deep. Bonner felt the weight of the Empire's confidence like a heavy stone on his chest. He could hear the words of the alien leader echoing in his mind as his team raced against the clock. Precision over passion, Vrex had said. But Bonner knew something that the alien leader didn't. No matter how precise their machines were, the aliens could never understand what it meant to cook with heart. But Bonner also knew that time was running out. The final stage of the competition had begun, and the dish had to be finished within moments. His hands trembled, not just from the pressure, but from something deeper, something that pushed him harder than the fear of failure. It was a memory that had haunted him for years. As Bonner chopped vegetables and measured spices, his mind drifted back to a time long ago, to a war that had threatened to destroy everything humanity had fought for. Earth's food reserves, the last remnants of humanity's crops, had been stolen by alien forces. And in the chaos that followed, a group of soldiers, brave men and women, had sacrificed their lives to protect what remained. Their deaths had been a turning point in the war, a sacrifice that ensured humanity's survival, but it came at a great cost. Bonner had been close to those soldiers. They had been his friends. They had given their lives so that humanity could keep fighting, so that the earth would not starve. Their sacrifice wasn't just for food, it was for the future. They had believed in the possibility of victory, in the idea that humanity could overcome the impossible. But now, as he faced the alien empire in this final challenge, their loss felt like an unshakable weight on his soul. For them, Bonner whispered under his breath, his voice trembling. As he stood there, surrounded by his team, the realization hit him. This meal wasn't just about food anymore. It was about honoring those who had died for Earth's future. It was about proving that humanity had something the aliens could never understand, the spirit to fight and the heart to survive. With renewed determination, Bonner added the final touches to the dish. The memory of the soldier's sacrifice pushed him to go further than he ever thought possible. Each ingredient was more than just a part of the meal, it was a tribute. A tribute to the fallen soldiers, to Earth's survival, and to everything humanity had lost in this war. As Bonner prepared the final ingredients, he felt the pressure building inside him. He could hear Lord Vrex's taunts growing louder in his mind, but he refused to let them break his resolve. This was not just a competition, it was a fight for the soul of humanity. And Bonner would not let Earth lose. The dish was almost complete. Every movement felt like it could make or break their chances. But Bonner wasn't just cooking anymore, he was channeling the strength of everyone who had fought and died for this moment. The time was now, and the fate of Earth rested on his hands. The moment everyone had been waiting for had arrived. With the final seconds ticking away, the tension was nearly unbearable. The alien empire stood in their towering, silent presence, their fleet looming over Earth like a dark shadow. On the other side, humanity was fighting not just for survival, but for its dignity. It was now time to present the dishes. First, the alien empire's dish was revealed to the world. The atmosphere seemed to freeze as the camera zoomed in on the plate. It was a masterpiece, the result of cold, calculated precision. Every element was perfectly aligned, every color flawlessly arranged, and each ingredient was placed with mechanical accuracy. The texture, the taste, the appearance, all immaculate. The aliens had relied on their advanced AI systems, molecular gastronomy, and robots to create the perfect dish. The crowd gasped in awe, unable to deny the sheer perfection of the creation. The dish sparkled under the lights, pristine and flawless. It was a triumph of technology, cold, precise, and efficient. But as the judges took their first bite, there was a noticeable lack of warmth. The flavors were excellent, yes, but there was no soul in the meal. It was perfect in every way, but it lacked something deeply human, the story behind it. The alien dish was just a product, made with logic, but nothing more. The audience, while impressed, felt strangely disconnected from it. Then, it was time for the human dish to be presented. As the dish was brought forward, the contrast couldn't have been more striking. Where the alien meal was sterile and immaculate, the human dish was messy, chaotic, and full of life. The colors were vibrant, each ingredient reflecting Earth's rich history, its struggles, and its triumphs. The plate wasn't perfectly arranged, it wasn't symmetrical. It was a reflection of humanity's imperfections, its battles, and the people who had fought through countless challenges to survive. The camera zoomed in on the human dish, capturing the deep reds of roasted meats, the rich green of freshly harvested vegetables, and the golden hues of spices from distant corners of the earth. Each element told a story, the flavors of a world that had risen from the ashes, the spirit of the people who had survived wars, famines, and struggles. This dish wasn't just food, it was a living testament to Earth's resilience. Bonner's hands shook as he presented the dish, but his heart was steady. As the judges took their first bite, it was clear, this was no ordinary meal. The flavors hit them like a wave, complex and unexpected. It wasn't just about taste, it was about history. Every bite carried the weight of humanity's past, its pain, and its hope for the future. There was a warmth in it, a heart in every layer. It was chaotic, imperfect, but real. The camera cut between the two dishes, the alien's flawless, cold creation, and the human dish, imperfect but rich in color, texture, and meaning. The contrast was striking, almost cinematic. The alien dish was beautiful in a mechanical way, but the human dish was alive. It told the story of a people who had fought through impossible odds and never given up. As the judges tasted the human dish, their faces changed. At first, there was uncertainty. But soon, the warmth of the meal began to settle in, and they were struck by something they hadn't expected, an emotional connection. This dish wasn't just food, it was the essence of Earth itself, a reflection of its people's spirit. And in that moment, it became clear, perfection might be cold, but humanity's heart would always shine through. The room was silent as the judges exchanged glances. The fate of Earth hung in the balance. The tension was unbearable. But one thing was certain, the human dish, with all its imperfection, had captured something that the alien empire's creation never could. The soul of Earth, the silence in the room was deafening as the judges took their time to deliberate. Every eye in the galaxy was on the stage, waiting for the final decision. The air was thick with tension, and the judges, though trained in the art of cuisine from across the galaxy, were struggling to come to a conclusion. The alien dish had been perfect in every way, crafted with the most advanced technology known to the galaxy. But something about the human dish had stirred something inside them. It was clear they weren't just judging food, they were judging the very essence of two worlds. The camera focused on the faces of the judges as they exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. The audience, holding their breath, waited for the verdict. Bonner stood nervously behind his team, the weight of the world on his shoulders. He couldn't shake the memory of the soldiers who had fought and died for this moment. They had given everything to protect Earth's future, and now, it all came down to a single dish. Finally, the head judge stood up, his voice booming across the silence. "The decision has been made," he said, his tone heavy with the gravity of the moment. "In this competition, we sought perfection. But we have found something more valuable." The suspense was unbearable. Bonner could feel his heart pounding in his chest. "The winner of this challenge is Earth." The words hung in the air like a weight lifted from the planet. The judges continued, explaining that while the alien dish had been flawless, it had lacked the emotional depth and cultural significance that made the human dish so special. The judges had been moved by the heart and soul that Bonner's team had poured into their creation, the history of Earth, its battles, and the resilience of its people were all captured in every bite. It was a reminder that, while perfection could be engineered, only humanity could create something with true meaning and warmth. As the news spread across the galaxy, the alien empire's leaders were stunned. They had underestimated humanity. They had thought they could crush Earth with technology and logic, but they had forgotten one key thing, the strength of the human spirit. Lord Vrex's arrogant smile faded, and for the first time, he was silent. The aliens, who had once seen themselves as superior, now retreated in defeat. Their mechanical perfection had been no match for the passion and heart of humanity. For Bonner, the victory was bittersweet. As he stood there, surrounded by his team, he thought of the soldiers who had made this possible. Their sacrifice had not been in vain. This victory was not just for him, but for all those who had fought to protect Earth's future. It was their legacy, their spirit, that had triumphed today. The dish was more than just food, it was a tribute to their courage. As Bonner received the news of Earth's victory, he felt the weight of it all. "We did it," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. His team gathered around him, their faces beaming with pride. The once-forgotten chef had become a hero, celebrated by all of Earth for his bravery and skill. His team, which had started as a group of misfits, was now known as the finest culinary warriors in the galaxy. The alien empire, defeated and humbled, began to negotiate with Earth for a peaceful future. They had underestimated humanity's heart, and now they were forced to respect it. Earth had won not just a culinary challenge, but a battle for its dignity and its place in the universe. The victory was a triumph of human ingenuity, determination, and spirit. Bonner, his heart full of pride, stood in front of his team, realizing that they had just proven something far greater than their culinary skills. They had proven that humanity could not be defeated, not by technology, not by aliens, and certainly not by anything that lacked heart. The future was bright for Earth. And for Bonner, the forgotten chef, this victory would be remembered as the moment humanity showed the galaxy what it meant to truly fight, not just for survival, but for something far more powerful, the soul of humankind.